Peter with BlankTV. We're here with Ilan Rubin backstage at the Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia on the New Regime and Angels Airwaves tour. Thanks so much for taking a few times to chat with us.
Sure, thanks for joining me in this closet to talk to me.
It's got some good ambience. Yeah. I'd be curious to hear your drum set in here.
This is where the vibe comes from, this closet right here.
So how does it feel to be back on the road with the New Regime and Angels Airwaves?
Fantastic. Yeah. I love doing the double duty. It's great. I actually have more energy than I've had not doing double duty. I don't know what it is, but I just love playing with the New Regime, getting off stage for a few minutes, coming back with Angels. That's great. It's kind of showcasing almost everything that I do, and I like that.
Awesome.
So it's cool.
What's your daily routine? Is there a special protein shake that gets you ready for double duty?
I sleep for about 12 to 14 hours, and then once I wake up, we sound check within about 45 minutes to an hour. No routine really. There's just there is a very consistent schedule between, like I said, sound checking both bands. Angels and Airwaves just meet and greets every day, and then before you know it, I have to start warming up my voice and do it. So
awesome, awesome. So you've announced your new album, Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul, with the first part coming out this past Friday, Heart, which is awesome.
Thank you. Glad you like it.
How is this record different from your previous work with the New Regime?
You know, I can't pinpoint it in the sense of like, oh, this one's way heavier, this one's way more electronic. Everything I do consistently evolves and turns into something else, because I just wouldn't be inspired to complete a song if I felt it sounded like one of my other songs. You know, so I can't really pinpoint it. All I can say is that it is different to whatever I've done in the past. Of course, there will always be a common thread, whether it be the way I write my melodies or the way I layer tracks. I'm not exactly sure, but it's certainly different, so I'm excited to really hear it.
Is there a single word you would use to describe the new album?
Excellent.
Excellent. Not even a hesitation.
No hesitation.
Just excellent.
Excellent.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there a favorite part that you have since you're breaking them out into different parts?
No, and it's actually been very difficult to do that because the album itself is going to be very long. It's going to be about 16 tracks.
Oh wow.
Which is why we split it up into quarters. That way we can kind of funnel music out consistently rather than saying, here it is, 16 tracks, have at it. You know, people don't really seem to listen to music like that anymore. So in terms of sitting down and listening for an hour and whatever it is. And that wasn't really the intent. I just, from inception to release, I just kept writing material. And I'm like, well, I want to put these on and I don't want to get rid of any of those. So before I knew it, I had 16. Really, I have 20. but the other 4 will come out at some point.
Okay, cool.
But maybe a deluxe or something.
Awesome. Awesome. So we hear from upcoming bands and artists all the time about this lack of sort of mentorship and guidance with trying to start in the music business. You started at such a young age. Did you have a mentor or sort of like an internal board of directors that sort of helped you kind of get started and guide you along your path?
Internal board of directors, my parents. Well, I started exceptionally young. So, I mean, I started playing at 7, 8 years old, and by the time I was 9, I was in my older brother's high school band. So, from the age of 9, I was already playing with 17-year-olds, or whatever it was. So, my parents were incredibly supportive from the very beginning. They knew I had a talent for music, and they helped foster that and grow that, and I think they did a great job. But by the time I was 14, I was touring professionally, so I just kind of, you know, the advice that I got and what was focused on in terms of me growing up while doing this in my career would be different to everybody. I mean, all I can tell somebody, let's say you're a teenager and you're starting music, is take the time to get good at it, because everything is getting worse and worse as the years go by. It's pretty baffling. I can't picture how shitty music might be in 5 years.
Oh wow. I
can't picture how bad it's going to be.
Do you mean sort of like the music itself or the industry as a whole? Or all
I'm going to go with both. I was talking about music in particular. You know, it's amazing that everyone has the tools and the ability to write and create. I would never say don't do that.
Sure.
But there's certainly no reason why your first thing has to come out, or, you know, that's not for me to say.
Sure.
All I really care about or would like to see from people is just taking time to get good at the craft. You know, I'm not saying sit there and read theory books. I'm just saying, if you like something, tear it apart and learn what it is about that you like. You like certain chord progressions, you like certain harmonies, you like certain sounds, learn. Don't just be like, cool, preset this, preset that, preset that. Here's some bullshit melody style that's in right now. I have a new song, great. It's like, garbage. But
Would you recommend learning multiple instruments as you have, and in your case being really a master at those multiple instruments?
Well, thank you very much. I mean, that's just a result of not having a life. But not kidding.
So there wasn't Xbox, it was guitars?
Well, you know what's funny is I played video games up until about 12. And this first band that I was in, we had this session that was cheaper if you went in from like 7 at night till 6 a.m. the following morning. And I was in the middle of this game. And so I did this whole session. I was, like I said, I was 12.
Sure.
And I got back home to my parents' house, and I went straight into my bedroom, and I turned on Nintendo or whatever it was, and I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, I just played music all night, and now I'm like rushing back. I'm like, I need to stop. And I gave everything away at 12.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. It's very abnormal. But I definitely put video games in.
Sure.
But back to your actual question. Learning as much as you can about other instruments helps. I think anybody who plays anything should have an understanding of the piano. It is the greatest instrument. It's the only instrument that has the entire range, and it's written there black and white. You can understand chord voicings much easier than you would playing things differently on guitar. You have the ability to work out harmonies much faster. If you don't have the ear for it per se, you can still understand how it works and what you're trying to achieve. And of course you can play your chord progression and maybe come up with a bass line that you wouldn't come up with actually playing the bass. So I think everybody should at least have some kind of knowledge of the piano. But yeah, if you play piano, why not pick up guitar? If you play guitar, actually learn the bass.
Sure.
You know, what's funny though is that when you have a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of, but I feel like I've noticed a lot of people who say piano, play piano, bass, guitar, whatever. Drums is usually the weak link, like they can get by. But conversely, if you're a drummer and you're good at it and you have that rhythm, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to pick up the piano or the bass or something else. So.
Did you start with one? Did you start with the piano?
I started with the drums.
Oh,
I didn't pick up the piano until I was about 15 or 16.
Okay.
Yeah. I just had this classical epiphany and I became obsessed with piano.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you're certainly one of the most hardworking people in rock music right now.
Well,
being in 3 different bands, you know, how do you sort of compartmentalize that? Is there a certain strategy when you're working with Angels or when working with 9 Inch Nails or then with yourself on the new regime?
No, I mean, the compartmentalization is easy. I just do what I have to do on any given day or tour or whatever it may be. The thing that's difficult is scheduling because with bands at the level of Angels Airwaves or 9 Inch Nails, it's very easy for them to book what they want, but it's also done so far in advance.
Sure.
So when it's like, for example, this tour, the reason why it's sort of a double whammy situation with the new regime and Angels is Tom first talked to me about this many months ago, and I was coming off of a run with 9 Inch Nails. I didn't know what 9 Inch Nails was going to be doing, and that's always a fear or an anxiety that's in the back of my head between what Tom wants to do, what Trent wants to do, and what I want to do.
It's a good problem to have, man.
It is. And I'm not saying it isn't, and somebody will be like, fuck you, that's not a problem. I wish that's what I was dealing with. And I don't disagree, but there was this thing where I was in the middle of negotiating this deal with Sony Red, and I knew that around the time Tom wanted to tour, I would have new music coming out. So I was like, it made me nervous, and I was like, well look, Tom, I want to play drums. I think it would be great. This is the first time I've ever signed a deal for my own music.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot if I put out music and I don't play shows. So, how would you feel if, and he's like, well, if that's what we got to do, then let's do it. But fortunately, I think it's been going really well.
Awesome.
The crowds have been super receptive to the new regime, which makes me really happy.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
It's been good.
Cool.
So I look forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, no, we're super excited to see you play tonight.
Awesome.
So 2020 is right around the corner. You got this new regime record coming out. There's 2 new Angels and Airwaves singles, Rebel Girl and Kiss and Tell, both awesome tracks. Really love your drums on that. What can you tell us about 2020? What's the sneak preview for any of the projects you're in that you're allowed to tell us?
Well, remember that anxiety I was telling you about as far as scheduling? I really don't know. I really don't know. I know I will definitely be doing stuff, a lot of it. I just don't know who, what, when, where.
Who, what, where, when.
Yeah. And I don't want. There's some weird like pre-show huddle going on over there.
That you're not involved.
That just made me uncomfortable.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, save the energy for the stage. But it's just it's a lot. And what's weird is that you go, oh, okay, you have a whole year to fill up your schedule, and that should be pretty easy from a few months out, and it just never is.
Awesome.
It never is, and it'll be good. It'll be busy. Like I said, what's happening, what months or what seasons, I have no idea.
Understood.
But all I know is that in terms of the new regime, as you said, the following EPs will be coming out. The final EP is going to actually just round out the entire Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul album.
Okay.
And then, so that'll take us into at least the beginning of next year.
Awesome.
I know as soon as this tour is done, or probably even sometime during this tour, Tom and I will start writing more material.
Sure.
Because we do have ideas that have been thrown around, aside from the 2 songs that have come out. But it's also, him and I were talking the other day, it's really cool to have 2 songs out, play, and then see kind of what's working and how things are resonating. So I think that'll also give us another kind of, I don't know, just some energy in terms of what we want to focus on and what we think would also work well on the next tour or whatever it may be. So
Awesome.
a lot of good things happen.
Awesome.
And then in terms of Nine Inch Nails, that's all Trent.
The phone vibrates, you see the name, and
My phone just turns black and it's a bat signal on it. Time to go. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, one more question for you. So
Hit
when
me.
you guys started the tour, everyone was so excited, Angels Airwaves and New Regime on the tour. There was a little story that Tom told about Anomaly involving you guys in a forest of some sort. The question really, how true is the story?
The thing that's amazing is that every time we play the song, Tom comes up with these stories that are they either never happened or they're so far back in my memory that I've forgotten.
You've maybe.
I blocked them out. I mean, we were in North Korea at some time, we were in the Amazon another time, we were in the Bavarian region of Germany once, we were in Spain in a bullfight. I mean, the greatest thing is that he comes up with all this bullshit as soon as he sees me on the stage with an acoustic guitar.
It's just instant.
Like 14 years ago, we were in the Antarctic. I'm like, what are you doing? I'll just be here,
Smile.
warm up my fingers, and we'll be ready to go. But it's cool because that song, Anomaly, was, an acoustic-based song, but it was also a lot of programming and different layers. I know this shitty harmonium that I bought off of eBay was in there. That's what that kind of drum sound is, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But he was very adamant before we even got into a room. He's like, I want to do something that's a little more like finger picking, organic, almost like a folky take on it. And I love playing that style of guitar.
Yeah.
So it came out cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rob. We got Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul out now, the new regime. We appreciate you taking a few moments with us tonight.
Thank you.
Set.
I appreciate it.
Wish you the best of
You
luck.
guys have a great one.